I started school at primary three because I came from a very poor family. Of course, I'm the firstborn of my father. I have a younger sister, so just the two of us with my mom. But I came from a very poor family that as early as five, at the age of 5 years, I was already hawking along with my mom. We hawk all sort of items, different items precisely. So there wasn't even that money to send you to school. So my early nursery stages was at home with broom. My mom holds broom and then we do the ABC with brooms. You're smiling like you connect with the story. So we do the ABC lessons with brooms in our hands, and anytime I get any wrong pronunciation, I get like some lineup of whipping of the brooms at my back, and then I have few seconds to cry and few other seconds to remove some of the brooms that has entered my skin, and then we get back to the course. So that was what it was for the nursery stage. Until primary three, I went to sit for a scholarship exam in a particular school called Tifeda International School, and I was among the top 20 that was given scholarship that day in the school. So from primary 3 to SS3, I was in a boarding house on scholarship in Tifeda International School. So from primary 3 all through to SS3, I was in the school, and of course at some point my scholarship expired, and my dad had to actually switch to become the school bus driver just to keep me in school, Thank you, sir. Thank you for freeing me from the rope. Sometimes, and of course we went out through the system, and after SS3 there wasn't any more scholarship forthcoming. It doesn't look like life is going to be interesting for me after then. And of course the period of time while I was in school, in the boarding house, in fact sometimes I desist going home because there's nothing to go and do at home. So during breaks I'm in the hostel. So at SS3, I felt going back home will be very troublesome because there's nothing to do, there's no money to proceed to university, and there's not, probably I just want to go back to the streets for the hugging, for the hawking thing. So I said no, that I don't want to do that. I was seriously concerned about the good life. I just had a dream for a better life. Like I usually say, we had no money, we had no connection, but I had a dream for a better life. So I couldn't further to any university. So I usually say that I'm Daniel Ajumobi. I'm that guy who had no nursery school education and no formal education beyond secondary school, because till date had not attended a university. But of course, the reason why I talk today is not because I'm where I want to be. I'm not where I want to be yet. But I'm talking to young people all over Nigeria and outside. By July, we'll be in Liberia for World Changers Conference to talk to young people. This is what I've been doing for a while now. I talk not because I'm where I want to be, I still have a long way to go, but I talk because I'm not where I used to be. Growing up was horrible. We had a dream for a better life, for an identity. I want to represent something. And that was what the entire work was for me. Building an identity, representing something. Now, it wasn't funny. Time would not permit me to go into all the stories and how I went through all the hurdles. But the reality is this. You need to start for something. You need to stand for something, represent something. There's a popular saying is that if you stand for nothing, thank you, you fall for everything. It's like having no destination in life. When you don't have where you are going, what happens? Everywhere you get to looks like where you are going. It just looks like it. And like one of my friends will fondly say, that when you grow as a person without an identity, you suffer from identity crisis. You lose your personal value and worth, and you struggle with being or looking like everybody around you. Now people go to Nigeria, to America, and you hear things like the American dreams. My American dreams, you go there, people go to America with American dreams to succeed, to excel, and become something huge. But what about the Nigerian dream? I had mine. I went through a whole lot. I went through unemployment at different levels. And I had to engage myself in personal development. I tell young people that till date, in my house, of course today, it's the glory of God, I have my company. And we are doing quite great. While I still yet work and function with other companies, including my father's company, that's Dr. Tola Oluklede. He has about 7 companies, and I'm highly connected and working effectively in all the arms of his companies, while I'm working and building one outside of his company too. So it's essential, it's key that you know what you represent. What's your dream? Now, I tell people all the time, I have excuses if I consider my pedigree, looking at where I'm coming from. I tell people that if it's to consider where I'm coming from, my father, my mother, my background, I don't have any business standing before you today to talk to you. I don't have any business owning a company, a limited liability company. I have no business having to talk about having a million or millions in my account, or having staffs working with me, or having a car. These are things that are not, they are not connected with where I'm coming from. So I tell people, your background is not the reason why your back is on the ground. It is not. Thank you for the reminder. It is not your background that keeps your back on the ground. It is the choices and the decisions that you make. It is the choices and the decisions that you make. So my little inspiration, or the fire that I'm dropping inside you today, is stand for something and work for what you stand for. You might want to write that down. Stand for something and work for what you stand for. Have an identity. Create one for yourself. Dream about one so that you don't suffer from identity crisis. Listen to me. It's good you work hard today. People ask a lot of questions when I go to places to talk. How do you reason? How do you, if you say you didn't have the social educational background or go to university, how do you communicate like this? How do you do this that you do? How do you do that? And I say I'm a product of informal education and personal development. I read a lot of books, and I said that till date, I don't have a TV in my house, not because I don't have money to buy one, but my library is very big, and it gives me joy every morning. I have a very big library, but I don't have a TV, because one of my mentors, Jim Rohn, he says if you get to the house of a rich man, their library is bigger than their TV. But if you get to the house of a poor man, their TV is bigger than their library. So, what do you represent? What are you standing for? Work hard for it. You know why? If you do the things that are hard today, your life will be easy eventually. But if you do the things that are easy today, your life will be hard. So to stand out, you have to do the things that others won't do in order for you to have the things that others won't have. Do the things that others won't do if you want to have the things that others won't have. So in conclusion, because time is not on my side, a few years from now, I would like to come in contact with a few of you, and you meet me, Mr. Dan. I'm so person. You came to speak at so places, and this is what I'm doing now for myself. based on one or two words that I pick from your words on so day, I've been able to carve a niche for myself. I represent two things. I'm a public speaker and a serial entrepreneur. I create businesses. I create ideas. And we've just started. So what are you creating? What are you representing? Nigeria is big. Nigeria is massive. What is your own Nigerian dream? What do you want to achieve for yourself and for your nation? Remember the words of Abraham Lincoln. Don't ask what your country. Nobody knows that quote. Don't ask what your country will do for you. Ask what you will do for your country. Thank you so much for your time.